Peace and love, YouTube. Even though I don't celebrate holidays, I would like to say Happy Father's Day. I think men are very, very beautiful creatures. I think they are a very beautiful creation by the divine, by the Most High. And it was in my spirit. I usually make videos when I'm led by the Spirit, by God, by the Most High. I want to talk about men for a brief moment. And not just because it's Father's Day, but it does ties into it. You know, let's just get to the point. Men go through a lot, and we live in a society. I mean, even though they are effeminizing men more, it's like because we're in the end times, like the roles are beginning to switch. Like women are becoming more masculine, and men are becoming more feminine. But even though it's evil and it's wicked, it's a part of prophecy. You know, these things must come to pass. So it's like that duality is becoming one now. It's like you can't tell one from the other now. But you know, initially the man is the masculine energy and the woman is the feminine energy. That's correct order. But of course we live in a world now where chaos is, you know, the main thing right now. So what I want to say is that I believe that men, for the majority, they are underappreciated. And I'm going to go out on a whim and say even men who are deemed by society to be horrible, like for example, you have these women out here, and you know, deadbeat dads are a thing. That is true. But the thing is, see, I'm very understanding. So it's a reason why people are the way that they are. So say, for instance, there's a deadbeat dad. He doesn't do anything for the children. He's very abusive, either like verbally, emotionally, or physically, or whatever. It's a reason why that man is like that. Say, for instance, during his childhood, he witnessed that. He witnessed chaos and dysfunction. Or he was like sexually abused or verbally abused as a child. So it warped his sense of reality. It opened him up to demons. And now, years later, he's a so-called father. And now he's a warped individual. He drinks, he does drugs, he chases after women. What I'm trying to say is even the worst person has a story. And I think when it comes to men are never given the benefit of the doubt. Now, of course, I'm a so-called black woman, even though I'm a Hebrew. I'm a so-called black woman. So, of course, I love my men. I love so-called black men. But this is for every man. Men in general. But, of course, you know, our men definitely get the short end of the stick because society knows who they are. They know that they are the real gods of the planet, the men who were made in the image of the Creator. But today, this video is specifically about all men. I watched a movie a couple of days ago. Called Lockdown. It came out in 2000. I advise everyone to go watch that movie, and a lot of you have probably already seen it. It had the guy, I can't remember his name. I can't really remember the character's name in the movie, but the guy from the two guys from the movie The Wood, they were in that movie. It's called Lockdown. Literally, it's just called Lockdown, and it came out in 2000. It had the main character is the dark-skinned brother with the bald head. He's the main character, and he ended up going to prison for something he had nothing to do with. And he went to prison with two of his friends. One friend ended up joining a gang in prison, going down that path. He tried to choose the middle path. He just didn't want to get involved with anything. He just wanted to do his time and go home to his girl and his child. And his other friend, who was younger than them, he ended up getting turned out by these white racists in prison. And he ended up turning to drugs in prison. And it's just horrible. It was just a sad story, but it's the reality of men, and also men in prison. That's another thing. When these men go to prison, you don't understand what they're dealing with. I mean, they're laying in a cell. They can hear other men getting raped. They're probably getting raped. They're thinking about their girl, their wives, their children, their mothers, their fathers. They're thinking about like, man, how in the hell did I get in here? Like, try to imagine being in a cell, laying at night after night. Like, man, this is my reality. I can't get out of here. How the hell am I going to get out of here? Like, I don't want to be here, you know? And then say, for instance, you do get raped in prison. And, you know, a lot of people try to talk, oh, well, I could fight back. You can if you getting ganged, you know, raped, or if you're getting, you know, or like if the abuser is physically stronger than you, like, what can you do? So, I mean, and these men, they go through this and they have to come home and pretend like nothing happened. And society does not give them the benefit of the doubt, especially if you're innocent and you went into the penitentiary. You know, my mind, I just think about all of these things. And I just look at how men, it's like society doesn't really care about men. And I think that we should, because, yeah, I know with the whole new age movement, and there may be truth to it about, you know, oh, the woman, she's the god or whatever. Hey, I'm not disputing that. But for me, what I personally believe, I believe that, well, for one, I believe that the black man is the closest thing. Well, a righteous black man is the closest thing you'll ever get to God. But we're always talking about how the woman is a goddess and the woman is this and that. What about the men? Because if you're a goddess, get pregnant on your own. And they say that's possible. Well, allow women to have children on their own. But my thing is, if you're truly a goddess, why do you need the sperm? The sperm is the main thing. I don't care what nobody says, because, you know, it's about where that seed is. You know, a man's sperm is very powerful. He's literally walking around with life in his loins, spirit in his loins, you know. But you know, for a long time, I always felt the emotions of men and the pain that they secretly hide. I mean, you never know if a brother got raped or abused as a child. You never know what kind of dysfunction or chaos he came from, but he can't even talk about it. He'll bottle it in. He'll try to like turn to fitness to get it out. He'll turn to the streets to get it out. He'll turn to being a womanizer to get it out. He'll turn to sex, have a sex addiction to get it out, a porn addiction, a drug addiction, an alcohol addiction. You never know why certain men are the way that they are. And in the future, I'm going to make a video about women and why they are the way that they are and the things that they go through as well. But I believe that this is a much needed video, because dang, it's like nobody cares about men. What about men? What about them? We need them. We as women of all races, we need our men. You know, we need men, period. I just think this is something that we need to discuss more often. And my heart hurts for the men who have been abused and they can't talk about it. And, you know, you can look at them. They may be muscular. They look like a man's man, but you don't know if they were sexually abused. You don't know what has happened to that man. And it hurts me. And they can't really discuss it. They can't really talk about it. And they hold these emotions in. And God forbid if they're a good man and they end up with an ungrateful, stupid woman. So he's looking at like, man, I already been through this as a child or in prison or whatever. And now I have to deal with this hellhound for a wife or for a woman. So just be careful how you treat people in general. I think that we should all just operate on the vibration of love. But when you look at these prison stories, when you look at these childhood stories of people being abused and things like that, it just further shows that Earth is a hell state. Like, you guys are going to find out when I'm talking about these different realms and dimensions, I'm not lying. Like I said, you don't reach the heavenly realms until you get to like the 5th and 6th dimension. And so on and so forth. But Earth is a hell state, because remember, Earth is only one dimension up from hell. You know, hell is the 2nd dimension. So we're literally only one dimension up from hell. That's why everything horrible that you can think of happens here on Earth. Children getting abused, men getting abused, women getting abused, you know, killing, shootings. Come on, man. Earth is a very, very horrible state. That's why you must try to pass this test, because it is a test. You must pass this test, master your higher self, reach that God or Christ consciousness to get the hell out of here. No one wants to be on Earth. This is a horrible place. And the way you live determines where you're going to go after you leave here. Are you going to reach a higher realm? At least try to make it to the 5th dimension. But like I said, you can't really get to where the Most High is until you break free from the 8th dimension. Other than that, you're still really in an illusion. But I'm going left field now. But I have to, one day I'm going to take time and speak about my studies and like what I've learned about the spirit realm and the different realms that are out there. But I just want to say to all the men out there, especially my brothers, black men, you are beautiful. You are divine. You were made in the Most High's image. And without you, where would we truly be? We need men. I don't care what no one says. I want every man out there to know that you are beautiful and you are divine. And your power comes from knowing that. But most importantly, your power comes from the Most High. Reading the Bible, reading the Quran, truly sanctifying yourself, being holy. It's a lot of temptation out there. And these women, they're acting like prostitutes now. So don't be fooled by that. Make sure that you find a virtuous wife, a true holy woman, modest, not out here showing her body or cursing or acting like a wild banshee in the streets twerking. That's foolishness. Make sure that you choose a virtuous wife. I just had to make this video, and I just want men to know that you are loved. You are loved and you are appreciated, because there are good women out here. There are good women out here. So please keep that in mind. I know it's a lot of hate, gender war going on between men and women, especially between black men and black women. But to the women out there bashing men, there are good men out here. And to the men bashing women, there are good women out here. You have to remember that. You can't, lump everyone in the same category. So I just want you guys to know that you are loved and you are appreciated. And I know the world will never understand what you go through, but the Most High know. And you may feel like, well, where is he? Why did I have to go through this? Why did this happen? Well, you have to understand he is a holy being. I know this is something that no one wants to hear, but he doesn't, like I said, earth is a realm of darkness. It is a hell state. And holy beings, they're very high vibrational. They don't deal in filth. And second of all, it could be karma from whatever you did in your past life. Or it just could be that, this is the reality of this realm that we live in. Because once again, it goes back to what earth is. Earth is a hell state. Listen, if you guys knew my story, you would be like, well, why in the hell do you believe in God? All the abuse and things you went through. Man, you guys, listen. One day I'm going to be honest enough to come on here and truly tell my story. But I have really been through a lot in life. From abuse to the whole nine, trust me. And I'm talking about as a child, starting at 4 years old. So I know, trust me. Homeless, all of that, I know. Homeless with a baby, homeless and pregnant. But I pushed through. So I know that no one understands your pain. I know that no one understands. And you get angry with God, like, where is he? But the main purpose is you have to seek him, and he will cover you. Now, I know a lot of the abuse that we went through as children, we had no power. But I'm gonna come back on in the near future, and I'm gonna explain why do we have to go through the things that we go through. Peace and love.